Hi everyone, this is Anto Chávez with Latina News. I just jumped back in the live because we were having some connection problems. As I said, we're going to be talking to Tucson Mayor Regina Romero, which is really exciting, not only because she's the first woman and Latina Mayor of Tucson, but also because I recently moved here, so I'm really looking forward to knowing more about her story. And so let's try one more time. Hopefully you can all hear me and hear Major Romero perfect this time around. If everybody who has already joined can let me know if my audio is working, that would be really helpful. Just as we wait a little bit for Major Regina Romero to join. Okay, perfect. So it is working so far. And I was also telling everyone that we'll be talking about the Latino Leaders Network's Antonio Villaraigosa Award, which she's receiving very soon. And it's so good to hear because she's finally getting recognition for the awesome job that she's doing here in Tucson. So that's great news. And I can't wait to see what she has to say and what she has to share with all of us. She hasn't joined yet, but she will probably be on very soon, and I'll request. Hopefully both of our audios are working. It might be just a connection problem, so she might be struggling with connection issues right now, which is totally fine. You know, this happens all the time. Those are, you know, the internet is a blessing, but also there are these things that can happen at any point. And after the pandemic, we've noticed that it's very common for it to happen. So tell us more about her. She's the daughter of two immigrant farm workers, and she was the first in her family to vote and also to go to college. So that's really exciting. She was a councilwoman before being the mayor of Tucson, and I believe she started in politics in 2007 or 2008. Which is a while back, you know, and she helped to get Tucson out of a recession, basically, and to get this city to one of the best times of its history. So that's super exciting, especially knowing that she was the first Latina mayor of Tucson. So she just requested to join, and we're Hi, how are you?
Oh
Let's
my goodness, I can hear you now.
Oh, that's awesome. It looks much better. Okay. And I can hear you perfectly fine. Let's see if everybody can hear us both. So where are
Yay.
you now? Are you in Tucson?
I'm in Tucson. I'm at home, staying in, of course, staying as much as possible at home. But yeah, I'm in Tucson. It's really nice over here. Where are you?
It is. I'm in Tucson as well. I was telling everyone that I moved recently, so it's really exciting to get an opportunity to talk to you and know a little bit more about, you know, your personal story.
Thank you, Anto. It's gorgeous outside. I wish I could be outside a little bit, but after our conversation, I'm gonna go and get some sun.
Yes, we both should. Okay, so I think it's working fine. Let's jump right in. So, for those who don't know you, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'm the mayor of the city of Tucson, and I see myself as a policymaker, right? As a public servant and a policymaker, and um, I'm very, very excited for the opportunity to be able to lead the city of Tucson. The history that we made as a community, and the hope that we saw when I got elected, and that hope has never really dwindled in my time, even though we've had a very difficult first year in office. And of course, everybody, all of us, all of the world has
Yeah.
lived a tumultuous year. But my passion for service and my excitement to show up every day, to to work and show up for my community is still very, very much alive.
Yeah, yeah, of course. And so before we go any deeper, because I do want to know a little bit more about you, how long you've been in the community, and everything that you've done. But I first want to acknowledge that today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and what better way to get to know you than asking, what does this holiday mean to you, and how do you usually spend it?
Usually I spend MLK Day marching. I'm very sad that that we were not able to march together as a community today. But of course, we have to acknowledge this day in a different way. And what I've always seen Dr. Martin Luther King Day as is a day of remembrance and a day of action, um, to remind us that there is still much work to do and that it is still worth our time and effort to march and to rally and to um, talk about and do the work that Dr. King taught us all, right? So that's what I've always seen, and I've been marching for this day for God, I would say at least 20 years.
Wow, wow. That's awesome. And of course, this is why so many people have walked with you along the way. You share some of the values that many Tucsonans do. So taking all of the support into account, how do you think has been your journey to become the first Latina mayor of Tucson like?
It has been full of work, and full. It's like they say, it's the cliche, like sweat, blood, and tears.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, not too much blood, but in the context of it being a struggle, right? Of it being, my husband has this saying that I love and I love to share with community, that luck is the residue of hard work. And so it wasn't luck that brought me here, right? It wasn't luck that I became the first mayor, the first woman mayor, first Latina mayor of the city of Tucson, but it was really a lot of hard work and dedication and love to to seeing progressive change in Tucson, and as a consequence in Arizona. So uh, I think I've really been able to enjoy my time and effort into changing how policymakers look here in Tucson in terms of the face of politics
Mm,
of and who we have as elected officials in Tucson, in Arizona as well. And that's showing up. That's showing up. That's basically really taking it upon yourself to spend the time to march and to rally and to organize and to canvas the nitty gritty, the hard work that you need to really take steps forward in equity and equality.
right, right. And so, like you said, I'm sure it hasn't been an easy road either. And what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that you've encountered and how you have overcome them?
Um, Big challenges, I would say personally, of course, I started, when I was much younger. And as a young person, as a Chicana woman, I have had to face criticism that males don't.
Yeah.
especially white males, right? We are in underneath people really look at how we look, how we talk, how we sound. Um, and so I have had to face scrutiny that many, even Chicano males, right, don't have to face.
Right.
And so that has been with the media, that has been with other leaders, that has been with, community groups or developers or department directors within the city of Tucson, you name it. But I've been able to overcome them by just staying at it, right? I have had to learn how to call it out
Hmm.
and call it out um, to them, to the person that is perpetuating whatever they're doing, whatever
Yeah.
ism they're practicing, right? Whatever ism, racism, sexism, whatever ism they're practicing, I have to have call it out and have had to learn how to say, why are you, right? Why are you asking that? So I've had to learn, and I still have to learn some more, right? I have to sharpen my teeth on that even more. In terms of facing um, opposition, right? As an elected official, as a public servant, I've had political differences outside of my personality, outside of my person, something that's bigger. Um, the pushback from people that don't agree with me,
Hmm.
whether they don't agree with me politically or they just have a beef with me for whatever reason outside of politics or outside of the my political stances.
Yeah.
That has been difficult, but what you have to learn as an elected official, as a public servant, is that you have to put to the side the noise and really focus on, okay, why am I doing this? And is this what my community wants?
Right.
And so you really have to always be in tuned to what the community wants. And the decisions that you're making have to be in tuned to your ethic and your beliefs. And if I can line that up, then it's the right thing to do and it's worth fighting and going uphill.
Yeah, yeah, that's really powerful because, as long as your ethics and your morals are also in line with the needs of the people that you're serving, then there you go. That's your job. And I really appreciate that advice for everybody who's watching. I also know, and I was telling everyone, that you were a first generation student in college, which is, always challenging. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the daughter of two immigrant farm workers, right? Here in
Yes,
Arizona. Yeah.
yes.
So how do you make sure that you are honoring their work every day?
Well, that's something that I think about every single day. And so thank you for the question because I really do. My dad used to tell me, you've got to know where you come from
Hmm.
to know where you're going. And don't ever forget that you are our daughter. And that has taken me, it's taken years for me to really honor my parents and their history, and it's also taken me into a self like a journey of self-awareness of who I am, and really kind of put me in the path of like knowing uh, what my history is. And what my history is that I grew up knowing that I am the daughter of immigrants, but also in time, I've also learned that my parents have been in the Sonoran Desert for generations. So my parents' families have been in the Sonoran Desert for 5 generations. And so it's really interesting because we call ourselves immigrants, but yet we've been from here for generations.
Mm-hmm.
And so at one point, the border was created, and then all of a sudden we became immigrants.
Hmm.
So I have that identity that my parents immigrated from Sonora, Mexico, and that the Sonoran Desert is on both sides of the border in Arizona and Sonora, and that my parents' families has been on the Sonora side, on the Mexican side of the Sonoran Desert, and so we're from here.
Hmm.
No matter of that line, that superficial line that was created back when. So it's really interesting because it's that immigrant identity, yet at the same time, it's knowing that we are from here. So it's taken time for me to learn because people, when I was growing up in Yuma, Arizona, going to high school, some people, it was very segregated. I went to a very segregated high school. And some people, especially white kids, would say, go back to your country, or would call us illegal aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And, with time, I learned I'm not illegal and I'm from here.
Yeah.
And so for me to be able to have that confidence of saying, yeah, we immigrated here, but we have always been from here.
Yeah.
It has been very powerful to me and my
Yeah.
children.
Of course. Yeah. And I think, the way you have honored their work, and the way you can see that in your everyday work, your own work. It's awesome because all of your efforts have helped the people of Tucson maybe realize this, see themselves represented, and thrive, and now will survive during such difficult times. So, how does it feel to be receiving the Latino Leaders Network's Antonio Villaraigosa Award as a recognition of all this?
It's really an honor, and it was so surprising to me because I was at their gala dinner last year when I first got elected, and Mickey Ibarra, my friend Mickey Ibarra, invited me to be
Mm-hmm.
there and speak, and I was like super honored. And when I was there, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna speak after Mayor Garcetti from LA. Um, but when he called me and told me, hey, we're honoring you with the Antonio Villaraigosa Award, I just couldn't believe it because it's my first year in office. And he
Yeah.
said, it's record breaking. Um, we've never awarded, the Antonio Villaraigosa Award to a rookie, to a rookie mayor, but you highly deserve it. And, I was just like, floored. And so the recognition is so important to me. I'm like humbled and honored, and I know what it means to be able to to receive the award named after Antonio Villaraigosa from Los Angeles that made such an impact and really elevated the position of mayor in his time
Yeah.
because of the work that he did for his constituents, for Angelinos. And so in so many different ways, it's such an honor and such a surprise. And I'm so humbled to receive this award. I'm so happy, especially because the Latino Leaders Network is such an important network that highlights the work of Latino elected officials and Latino leaders throughout the country. It's such an important organization.
Yeah. Congratulations. And
Thank you.
imagine if these means so much to you. I know it means a lot to many young girls and young women out there, including myself, who see you in this position as a sign of hope, and maybe some of them, look like you, speak like you, or simply feel represented by you. So some of them may want to follow a similar path, but are scared or don't
Yeah.
know where to start. What would you tell them? What would you do to empower more Latinas to run for office?
Well, what an important question, Anto, because there's, even though there's more and more of us Latinas, Chicanas running for elected office throughout the country, many of us are the first, right? You were reading my bio earlier, and I was like the first in my family to go to college and the first one to register to vote because I was the only one in my family to be born here. I was the first Latina to be elected to the Tucson City Council, first Latina mayor in the history of our city. And we are in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and it's about time. It is about time. And we are not what we don't see. So I never saw a Latina elected official when I was growing up. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to get involved in the political process, right? That I didn't see my voice represented anywhere. And I didn't start getting involved in the political process because I said, one day I'm going to run for mayor. It was much more like, I want to see other women, other Ticanas run. I want my voice through whomever, right? A male or a female represented at the decision making table when policies are being made. And so you are not what you can't see. And
Yeah.
so now that young women and girls and little chicanitas everywhere see, hey, if she can be mayor, I can be mayor.
Yeah.
It really is life changing. And it's a responsibility for me. And it's a responsibility for me, to give the opportunity to other young Latinas to work for me and other women of color, period, to work for me and for me to mentor them and for me to open up the door and give my hand out and bring others along with me. I see that as very, very serious. And so now you can see it. Other Chicanitas, other young Latinas can see it so they can be it. And that's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, and it's so good to know, to hear from someone in your position that you are thinking about, lifting other Latinas up with you. And so that's huge. That's so important. And I really appreciate your time here with us. I love this conversation. I'm so glad we were able to have it with so many, of Tucsonians and maybe people from other states who are watching. So I thank you so much.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And so sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning,
Don't even worry.
but really appreciate the conversation. I love it, and invite me again. I really, really
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, our platform is always open to you, and it was a pleasure to meet you.
Muchas gracias. Adios. Have a wonderful day.
Adiós, un abrazo.